Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? I think it's finally the time we have all been waiting for, right? This elusive Nintendo Direct. And not just any Nintendo Direct, that huge first-party general Direct that will also have third-party and indies as well, but the one we've all been looking for is coming. And it's coming soon, and we're about to talk about all the possibilities. So let's go and get right into this video. So I'm recording this video Sunday night. So when this video releases, it will be Monday at 11 a.m. and a new Nintendo Direct will probably be announced. Everybody's saying Tuesday, which is strange, but even if it's not, I still think no matter what, it's coming Wednesday this week. And just look at what we've got over the past 5 or 6 days. We had the Sony State of Play, Summer Games Fest, Xbox Showcase, I feel like something else, and now a Nintendo Direct, right? This is one of the best weeks in gaming reveal history in a very long time. And I think it's about to get a lot better with this Nintendo Direct. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. Also, follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep our communities growing. And we have a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So the first thing I want to do is talk about games that were already revealed in the past few days. And I just think these are also going to show up in the Nintendo Direct. I feel like Nintendo wanted to reveal that they're coming to the Switch 2 themselves. And the first one is Persona 4 Revival. There is no doubt in my mind, like 0%, that this game is coming over to the Switch 2. Now, will it show up day one? I still think possibly. That's February 18th, right? I still think possibly. But even if it's not, this might come a little later. That way, Atlas can release it basically twice in 1 year and have the hype twice in 1 year. Something else I'm expecting to show up in this Nintendo Direct is Metroid Fantasio. I think that is coming out this year, and then Persona obviously will come out next year. If I could take a real guess, I think Metroid comes out October or November of this year on the Switch 2, or maybe September. Obviously, Persona 4 Revival is coming out in February on other platforms, and then again, probably on the Switch 2 later on in the year. That way, they're just always releasing something. And then it seems like Persona 6 is going to show up sometime in 2028, right? Because that Persona 6 reveal that we got, I mean, it's a reveal, I guess. But yeah, I'm almost certain that Persona 4 Revival and Metroid Fantasio are going to show up in this next Nintendo Direct. Now, a game that I don't have any evidence that it's going to show up in this Nintendo Direct, but I just feel like it's going to, right? We just seen a new trailer, or maybe it was the first trailer, or yeah, I think it was the first real trailer, because I think they showed us a development video before of Halo Campaign Evolved. And when they showed off this trailer, at the end it said obviously coming to the Xbox consoles, but also coming over to the PlayStation 5. Now, normally I would say, I don't know, that looks maybe a little too taxing for the Switch 2, or maybe like it's not gonna wiggle in the right direction, right? But that was before we've seen that the newest Call of Duty game is coming over to the Switch 2 day one, right? I'm pretty sure it was day one, the same day as other consoles in November or October. So if the newest Call of Duty game that is coming out across all other platforms and PC is also coming over to the Switch 2, yeah, I'm almost certain that this new Halo game is coming over to the Switch 2 as well. And sure, in the Xbox Showcase at the end, if it would have had a Nintendo Switch 2 logo, I would have said, wow, man, that's awesome. But I think it has more of an impact during a Nintendo Direct, right? Maybe an Xbox Studio logo pops up or whatever logo pops up, and then they show this trailer and then it says coming to the Switch 2. It would be freaking awesome. Now, there is some other games that I think have potential third party to show up on the Switch 2, and obviously all the stuff that is leaked. Devil May Cry, Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm blanking right now because we've been doing this so long for the past 2 months, where there were so many games that leaked out for the Switch 2 that were not revealed yet. You know what I'm talking about, so just insert any of those right here, right now. Like this one, that one, that one, this one. Any of those, yeah, it's probably a safe bet that those are going to show up in the Switch 2 as well. But I'm talking about all the stuff that it's like, is this going to show up? Maybe, not the stuff that's leaked out that seems credible, the other stuff that seems like it has a chance, as well as some other stuff that is leaked out. Obviously, we're going to get the third party. Obviously, we're going to get some indies. The main stuff that I would like to focus on is the first party stuff, because the first party stuff is what sells the system, and we have to go back and remember what Nintendo said recently. Unfortunately, the Switch 2 is getting a price hike in September, I believe, and they're sorry about that. And one way they want to offset this price hike is giving you a robust lineup of games for your Switch 2. So that is first-party games that will make you say, you know what, I'm happy I bought this console. It was $50 more expensive, but since I'm able to play all these great games, I think it was worth it. You know, that's a definition of a system seller, and Nintendo has a lot of those that they could pull out at any moment. One of the big ones that we already know about is Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Now, Star Fox and Splatoon, both of these games have release dates, and, you know, they're probably going to be pretty fun. But Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave was shown off so long ago, and we've heard nothing since then, right? I think it's been 9 months since Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave has been shown off, and it was just that one trailer. So, what's going on there? Now, there was a leak recently where it seemed like an art booklet or maybe the insert into the case leaked out, and it looked very credible. So if I had to guess, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave will probably get a new trailer as well as a release date. And this is just me guessing, right? I think this actually might open up the Nintendo Direct. Or actually, what am I saying? That might be the first game of the actual Nintendo Direct. The way I think the Nintendo Direct is going to open up is with Zelda's 40th anniversary. So if I'm not mistaken, I think it was March of this year was Zelda's 40th anniversary, which is, you know, it's cool, but Nintendo always doesn't do anniversary stuff on the exact anniversary. And if we go off what they did for Super Mario's 40th anniversary, they did a 15-minute presentation at the beginning of the Direct, then they got into the Nintendo Direct. So let's just try to look at what we could possibly get. Zelda Ocarina of Time Remake, I think that's the big one. And it's weird because that would be like the game you end a Nintendo Direct with, but if they start with Zelda's 40th anniversary, well, then that's how they would start the Nintendo Direct, which, I mean, this Nintendo Direct can be full of amazing games, so why not start it with that? I think honestly, if they do show it off, what they should do is do a very small trailer. I'm talking about like a minute long, not because I don't want to see more, but because it would be cool to kind of do a drip feed, right? Show it off a little bit here, then show a new trailer in like a month or two, then another new trailer, maybe some other stuff, and then the game releases. Because I also think they're going to show off other stuff to do with Zelda for the anniversary. Potentially that new console. We are officially over 1 year into the life of the Nintendo Switch 2, and we've got no new Nintendo Switch 2. We got some new Joy-Cons, which, you know, they're about as boring as you can get in my opinion, but a themed Nintendo Switch 2 for The Legend of Zelda on the 40th anniversary for a new Ocarina of Time remake, yeah, that would be amazing, because we have to remember what's coming next year, and I think that will also play into this Nintendo Direct. I think we could possibly get the very first trailer for the Zelda movie, because this is going to be massive, right? A Mario trailer, it's like, yeah, we already had one Mario movie, we kind of know what to expect in the next one, but with a Zelda movie, we all want to know what the hell Link is going to sound like, and just see the overall theme of the movie. So there's a lot riding on this, and there's a lot they could do in a 15 or even a 10-minute Zelda presentation at the beginning of a new Nintendo Direct. Now this might sound crazy, but I honestly think we're also going to see some Super Mario in this new Nintendo Direct, and I'm just going to go out and say I think we're going to see the next 3D Mario. I think Nintendo's done a great job with 2D Mario. I think they've done a great job with Mario Kart World, but there's a couple things we have not seen. We need to see some Mario Kart World DLC. The base game is great, but there's so many things that feel like missed opportunities. So Mario Kart DLC, as well as the next 3D Mario. It feels weird because it's like if they showed it off now, it would feel like it's coming out this year, and I can't see Nintendo doing that. It feels like this is something that would definitely release next year. But honestly, with that price increase, I feel like almost everything that you would think is kind of off the table. I feel like Nintendo really wants to smooth things over. And you're probably like, dude, it's $1 billion corporation. They don't really care how you feel. And you are probably right. But from the outside looking in, it does seem like Nintendo's like, you know what? We really got to make this worth it for our consumers. And there's 2 franchises right away that are going to do that. Zelda, we've already talked about, and the other one is Super Mario. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb again and just give you a guess of what I think we could get. Metroid Prime 4, all things considered, it did okay, right? I think it broke 1 million copies on the Switch and Switch 2 combined. I don't think it did 1 million copies on just one console. So how do we keep Metroid alive in the Nintendo zeitgeist currently? Well, I honestly think Metroid Prime 2 is going to get remastered, because is Metroid Prime 2 on GameCube and then 3 is on Wii, right? At least I think that's what it is. I never played these back on GameCube. I played the first one, but I haven't played any of the other ones. So Metroid Prime 2 gets remastered, because why else would it not be on GameCube? You know what I mean? This would have been a great game to release on GameCube service to get people back into Metroid, leading into Metroid Prime 4. That would have been a really cool way to get people who don't know anything about the franchise back into the game. There's no evidence for this. I know there's been talks about it happening, but I honestly think we're going to see something Metroid related here, and I think it's going to be Metroid Prime 2 remastered. And then obviously if they do the first two, we can expect in a year or two to get Metroid Prime 3 remastered, because I think we even seen some rumors for a Metroid movie or something. And I seen a posting recently that Retro Studios is hiring for some kind of like new environment artist or something, which probably is for a new Metroid Prime game. So we need something to fill in the gaps, right? Now another franchise I think we could possibly see, and again, there's no evidence for this, but I think we're going to see a new F-Zero game. And for a couple of reasons. I think F-Zero 99 was to kind of test the waters a little bit to see if there was any hype there. And I think there was. You know, a lot of people played that. I thought it was really fun and I enjoyed it. I only played it for probably 2 weeks. And not because it wasn't fun anymore. I think there was just other games coming out. But it was great, you know. But when you look at games like Fast Fusion and then Fast RMX back on the Switch, they seem to be filling that void of F-Zero. And I know Nintendo has to look at that and be like, wait, we could be doing this and probably doing it better. It has great characters that we really like and enjoy. And something I didn't know until putting this video together, I personally did not know that Shigeru Miyamoto was a designer on F-Zero. And we know he is aging out of this whole, just everything, right? He just kind of touch and goes on some stuff here. He's not really developing stuff anymore. So I would assume that they're going to be making some kind of F-Zero game while he's still around, so he can still give some kind of input on it, but he just kind of leads them in whatever direction, brings some ideas to life, and he kind of passes the torch down to some new developers. So yeah, I just have a weird feeling that F-Zero is going to show up in this Nintendo Direct. Now there's a million other things I could talk about, but I also think we're going to get something strange to do with Nintendo Online. Now, one thing I like bragging about is before they showed off the Virtual Boy for Nintendo Online, I made a video about a theory that I had that Virtual Boy was coming back like 4 weeks before they revealed that, and then it happened. So, you know, I always felt pretty proud about that, but I feel like something else weird at Nintendo Online is coming. I think we could probably get Super Smash Bros. On Nintendo 64 in a Nintendo Direct, and then maybe Mario Sunshine for GameCube in the Nintendo Direct, and then I could also see us getting a new tier. And everybody's expecting Nintendo DS and then eventually the Wii, which, you know, I don't think that's off the table at all. But we would also need a new screen for the DS, which, sure, I think this could possibly happen. But something I said recently, and people were like, why would you ever think that? Because that's not even Nintendo. I said, I could see us getting like Sega CD or Sega Dreamcast. And then multiple people in the comments were like, why would you even think that? That's Sega. And I had to respond with, well, we have Sega Genesis, and that's also Sega on Nintendo Online. So it just doesn't make sense to me to only bring over one Sega console to Nintendo Online and call it a day. That does not make any sense to me. So yes, we're probably going to get DS and then eventually Wii, but I honestly feel like we're going to see something Sega related on Nintendo Online in this Nintendo Direct, especially with it being Sega and Sonic's 35th anniversary this year. I mean, come on, it's almost lining up too perfectly. Like I said, that next Nintendo Direct has probably already been announced at the time of recording this video, or will be announced tomorrow. And I think we are in for a massive treat. I'm not even kidding, 45 minutes minimum. That's what I'm thinking, but possibly up to an hour of announcements. And we need it, we really do. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the comments below, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions on everything we talked about today. What are your expectations? What are your wacky and weird predictions that are just out there, but you still feel like could happen? I would love to hear from you guys. And if you made it to this part of the video, if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe on the way out. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter on the way out, and consider becoming a channel member, as that is the ultimate way to support this community, and it would mean the world to me. And you guys know me, I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace.